Hey there, everyone! Welcome back to Gamingsafespace, the channel where we dive deep into the stories behind the games we love. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our community of gamers who can't get enough of the stories that make our favorite titles so special. Today, we're tackling a topic close to my heart, the long, wild, and often frustrating journey of the Bioshock movie. From its early promises to its endless setbacks and current status, this is a tale of Hollywood dreams clashing with the gritty reality of adapting a masterpiece. And, of course, I'll sprinkle in my personal love for the Bioshock series, because, honestly, I replay these games every single year, and they never get old. So, let's dive in. Would you kindly? First off, let me just say that Bioshock is one of those rare series that grabs you by the soul and doesn't let go. The underwater city of Rapture, the haunting beauty of Columbia, the mind-bending stories, they're unforgettable. I fire up Bioshock, Bioshock 2, and Bioshock Infinite annually, and each time I'm blown away by the atmosphere, the themes, and those gut-punch twists. So, when I heard years ago that a movie was in the works, I was over the moon. A chance to see Rapture on the big screen? Sign me up. But as we'll see, bringing Bioshock to life in Hollywood has been anything but smooth. Let's rewind to 2007. When the first Bioshock game dropped and took the world by storm. Critics raved about its story, inspired by Ayn Rand's philosophy and its jaw-dropping setting, an underwater utopia gone horribly wrong. It wasn't long before Hollywood came knocking. By 2008, Universal Pictures announced they were teaming up with 2K Games and Take-Two Interactive to adapt Bioshock into a feature film. They even tapped a big name to direct, Gore Verbinski, the guy behind the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Now, as a Bioshock fan, this got me hyped. Verbinski's knack for blending action with dark, immersive worlds seemed like a perfect fit for Rapture's decaying halls and creepy splicers. The plan was ambitious. Verbinski envisioned a film that stayed true to the game's mature themes, aiming for an R-rated blockbuster that would capture Bioshock's horror and moral complexity. The story would likely follow the game's protagonist, Jack, as he stumbles into Rapture after a plane crash and uncovers its dark secrets. Concept art and early discussions hinted at recreating iconic locations like the medical pavilion and those eerie Big Daddy battles. My annual replays always remind me how cinematic Rapture feels, so imagining it with Verbinski's flair had me dreaming of something epic. But here's where things started to unravel. By 2009, the project hit its first major roadblock, budget woes. Verbinski wanted a $200 million budget to do justice to Rapture's scale. Think massive underwater sets, CGI splicers, and those hulking Big Daddies. Universal, though, wasn't so keen. They pushed for a leaner $80 million, worried that an R-rated film wouldn't pull in enough ticket sales to justify the cost. This clash led to Verbinski stepping down as director, though he stayed on as a producer. I remember feeling crushed when I heard this. Replaying Bioshock's Fort Frolic level that year, I couldn't help but think how Verbinski could have nailed that creepy, theatrical vibe. Universal didn't give up, though. They brought in Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, known for the horror sequel 28 Weeks Later, to take the director's chair. There was talk of filming overseas to cut costs, maybe taking advantage of tax incentives. For a while, it seemed like the project was back on track. But behind the scenes, the same problems persisted. The budget kept creeping up, and studios were still nervous about bankrolling a dark R-rated adaptation. By 2010 or 2011, pre-production quietly stalled. Then, in 2013, Bioshock's creator, Ken Levine, confirmed what many of us feared. The movie was dead. Levine himself made the call to pull the plug, believing the compromises, like a lower budget or a toned-down rating, would dilute the game's vision. As a fan who cherishes every detail of Rapture's story, I respected Levine's choice, even if it stung. Now, this wasn't the end of the story, but it was a long pause. For years, the Bioshock movie sat in what we call development hell. Bits and pieces leaked out, keeping fans like me intrigued. In 2014, concept art surfaced online, showing what Rapture might have looked like. Gorgeous, haunting, and true to the game. Verbinski later shared that they'd even done screen tests for characters, hinting at a treasure trove of unused material. Playing through Bioshock Infinite that year, I couldn't help but imagine how those floating cities might have looked in a film, even as the Universal project faded into memory. Then, in 2022, a lifeline appeared. Netflix announced they were picking up the Bioshock movie, partnering with 2K and Take-Two to bring Rapture to life as a streaming exclusive. This was huge news for me. Every time I revisit Bioshock 2's Siren Alley, I'm reminded how much this series deserves a second chance on screen. Netflix tapped Francis Lawrence, director of I Am Legend and The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, to helm the project. They also brought on Michael Green, who wrote Logan and Blade Runner 2049, to pen the script. The duo started working on a draft, and for a moment, it felt like the stars were aligning. But true to Bioshock's cursed movie history, challenges popped up again. In July 2024, at San Diego Comic-Con, producer Roy Lee dropped a bombshell. Netflix had slashed the budget after a management shakeup. Instead of the grand, sprawling adaptation they'd planned, the film was being reworked into something smaller and more personal. Lee described it as a shift from a big project to a tighter, character-focused story. Now, as someone who replays Bioshock for its intimate moments, like the choices you make with the little sisters, I'm cautiously optimistic about a smaller scope. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. Budget cuts were what killed the Universal project, and I don't want to see Rapture shortchanged. So, where does that leave us today? As of early 2025, the Netflix Bioshock movie is still in development, but details are scarce. Francis Lawrence and Michael Green are reportedly refining the script, and no casting or release date has been announced. There's no word on whether it'll stick closely to the first game's story or pull from Bioshock 2 or Infinite, though my annual playthroughs make me hope we'll see Jack's journey in Rapture as the core focus. The project's future hinges on Netflix balancing their budget constraints with the need to honor Bioshock's legacy. Given how video game adaptations like The Last of Us and Fallout have nailed it recently, there's hope, but also pressure to get this right. Looking back, the Bioshock movie's journey mirrors the chaos of Rapture itself, a grand vision torn apart by tough realities. Every year when I boot up Bioshock and hear Andrew Ryan's voice welcoming me to his city, I'm reminded why this series means so much to me. Its blend of horror, philosophy, and choice is unlike anything else, and I still believe it could make an incredible film. Whether Netflix can pull it off remains to be seen, but I'm rooting for them to capture that magic. What do you all think? Are you excited for the Netflix Bioshock movie or nervous about another setback? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give the video a like and share it with your fellow Bioshock fans. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an update here on Gaming Safe Space. Until next time, keep gaming, keep dreaming, and I'll catch you in the next one. Would you kindly stay awesome?